Well, no, that's not the sound of my engine. A Can-Am Spyder 1330 definitely does not sound like that. Hello folks out there in YouTube land. This is Speedster Johnny. I'm off on a short ride on a beautiful day. Sunshine, mild temperatures, nice wispy white clouds up there, and I'm on a very straight road, lots of tar snakes, but at least not a lot of traffic to deal with. This won't be the most exciting ride I've ever taken, but it was good to get out on the machine anyway. I know all of you feel the same way from time to time about your rides. We do this because it's a lot of fun. Now, I've had this 2017 Can-Am Spyder F3 since new, and it's been a very good machine for me. I have it serviced every year. I am on my second back tire, and I went with the tire that comes original equipment. As I figure, if I live to put another 12,000 miles on this machine at the rate I'm going, I'll probably be about 150. That's no joke. Riding in Georgia, at least in the part of Georgia I live, is a whole lot different from riding in East Tennessee, where great rides, that's R-I-D-E-S, are a little hard to come by. An interesting thing about living in East Tennessee, Loudoun County, in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, was that I barely had to get out of my driveway and I was on a great road. Certainly there was the Cherahalla Skyway, the Tail of the Dragon, the Devil's Triangle, just to name a few, and lots of roads that probably would barely deserve mention except for the fact that they're nice, twisty, two-lane roads, and that is certainly not what I'm on right now. But anyway, it's a beautiful Sunday morning, and that's probably one of the reasons that there isn't a whole lot of traffic out here, but I guess that's a good thing. So, what are you guys doing with your rides right now? I came to decide that a Can-Am Spyder was the right thing for me because I needed 3 wheels. I had been in the car hobby for about 12 years. I belonged to the Tellico Village Vintage Vehicles Club, and as a matter of fact, I joined the first week I moved to Tennessee. And it seemed like a good group, lots of interesting people and interesting automobiles. At the time, I had a vintage Speedster. It was built out in Hawaiian Gardens, California, and that company does not exist anymore, but I think it was taken over by another company. So they're still building Speedsters, 356 replicas, and they're also building 550 replicas, the Spyder, you know, the kind of car that James Dean was killed in. Well, that's a great advertisement for a car, isn't it? But anyway, and I enjoyed that car quite a bit. Had some interesting issues with it, and it was a Volkswagen engine, so it sure didn't take a lot of brains to keep it running well. And I enjoyed learning about maintaining Volkswagen engines with John Muir's book, How to Keep Your Volkswagen Alive. Good information, good book, lots of fun. Well, after a couple of years, I decided to have a car built just for me, not something that I had bought secondhand from another person who decided it just wasn't for him. And that came as a result of a conversation that I had on the internet, the speedsterowners.com, and somebody said, hey, there's somebody in Tennessee that's building 356 replicas with Subaru engines. Somebody want to go check that out? Hint, hint, gentle nudge. So sure, I decided to do exactly that. Well, long story short, I winded up buying one, and it was an interesting car for sure. It had some teething pains because it was the first car that was actually built for a customer. But and it took probably a couple of years to get it really refined, but once it was terrific. Great mileage. The second year I had it, I guess, I drove it from Tennessee to Southern California. Quite a trip. No issues, really, except it tended to run a little hot out on the highway. It took a while to figure out what was wrong with that, but it finally was resolved. Anyway, I also had driven it to Carlisle, Pennsylvania for the Import Kit Car Replicar show they used to have there every year. The show format has changed a bit since then. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and we really loved the ham sandwiches, as they called them, which were made of about 4 eggs and meat and, oh boy, all kinds of good stuff that will get your cholesterol up for sure. But I understand that more recently the Carlisle High School Marching Band no longer is doing that, so that's one of the many things that changed about the show and made it somewhat less interesting to go to. Anyway, not having a car anymore, I sold it as I had with the Speedster. This was a cabriolet, to a person in California. Now, the thing that I couldn't understand is in a state where it was just overflowing with that kind of car, why 2 different people would buy a car in Tennessee and have to pay, at least $1,000 to have it shipped to them. But that was okay with me. Not a problem at all. Well, after this car adventure, and after the cabriolet was gone, I decided I'd get back into motorcycles. And I had plenty of cash in my pocket, so I went out and bought a Harley-Davidson Sportster, the one they called the Super Low, nice low saddle. And I found out rather quickly that the 12 or so years that I had been fooling around with cars had made some changes in me physically, and all of a sudden riding a motorcycle wasn't such a safe thing to do anymore. So I actually traded it for the F3. I didn't take a terrible beating on the sale. As I had said one time, I think I didn't take a bath on it. I took maybe a shower. But anyway, it was the right thing to do, and I rode it around a little bit and decided, okay, let's go. I want to go home. And when I got within probably 6 or 7 miles of my house, I got an indication that there was something wrong with the dynamic power steering. And so I called them and explained the situation to them, and they said that they'd want to take a look at it. Of course, I was almost home, so anyway, I rode it several times in the meantime, and it never showed up. But it seemed like every time I got on the highway at highway speeds, and after maybe half, 3/4 of an hour, that light would come on. It was eventually resolved. It turned out that it was some kind of fault in the system, and it was replaced under warranty, and no more problems. But in any event, I still love the thing, and I'll keep riding it for as long as I feel safe doing so. Later this year, I'm going to become an octogenarian, so I'm not exactly sure what that means in terms of how much longer I'll really want to be out motorcycling. I do plan sometime around my birthday, which is in December, to skydive. I figured if George H.W. Bush can do it at that age, why not me? That may be silly, but anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it for now. I wonder if any of you have similar stories about how you wound up riding a Spyder. And, well, I'd like to hear them. I've got a good ear for listening to other people's stories. It's kind of fun to know that you're not the only one that has certain kinds of experiences. That could include skydiving too, but the main thing is you're on an F3, you're on an RT, you're on a Riker, whatever. They're all great little machines, I think. And I would like to hear anything you might have to say on the subject. In the meantime, keep riding, enjoy yourself, ride safe, have fun. And with that, I think I'll sign off and let the music carry us home. Ride safe and be out there and enjoy your day. Speedster Johnny out.